In 1997, scientists from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, made a chilling discovery in the depths of the Pacific Ocean, a mysterious and unidentifiable sound that became famously known as the bloop. This enigmatic sound wave, picked up by underwater microphones called hydrophones, has since puzzled researchers and captured the imagination of the public, giving rise to various theories and speculations. The bloop sound was characterized by its ultra-low frequency and immense volume, leading scientists to believe that the source of the sound must have been of tremendous size and located at an unprecedented depth. The sound's unique audio signature was unlike any known biological or geological noise, further adding to its mystique. It reverberated through the ocean, spanning over a vast distance and sparking curiosity among oceanographers and cryptozoologists alike. Numerous attempts were made to decipher the origins of the bloop. Initially, some scientists hypothesized that it might have emanated from a massive marine creature, such as a colossal squid or a previously unknown species. However, this theory was soon deemed unlikely, as the sound's characteristics did not align with those of living organisms. Additionally, no other evidence of such gigantic marine creatures had been found in the area. As speculation grew, alternative theories emerged, suggesting that the bloop might have been the result of clandestine military activities or underwater volcanic eruptions. Nonetheless, these conjectures were also met with skepticism and lacked concrete evidence to support them fully. The search for the truth behind the bloop continued for years, and while some plausible explanations were proposed, none could be definitively proven. As technology advanced, scientists deployed additional hydrophones across the world's oceans to better detect and analyze similar phenomena. These efforts led to the discovery of other mysterious sounds, such as Julia and upsweep, which further fueled scientific interest in underwater acoustics. One of the prevailing theories surrounding the bloop's origin is that it resulted from the fracturing and collapse of an enormous ice shelf. The breakup of ice generates unique acoustic signals as it releases trapped air, causing a cryosysm. This theory gained traction as scientists found evidence of large icebergs in the vicinity of the sound's origin. However, even this hypothesis remains speculative, and researchers have not conclusively linked the bloop to any specific ice event. In the annals of television history, the Max Headroom incident of 1987 stands out as one of the most perplexing and bizarre cases of broadcast signal hijacking. On the evening of November 22, 1987, viewers in Chicago were settling in to watch the 9 o'clock news on WGN-TV when the broadcast was abruptly interrupted by an unidentified individual wearing a Max Headroom mask. Max Headroom was a fictional artificial intelligence character known for his witty and satirical commentary on pop culture portrayed by actor Matt Frewer. However, this intrusion was no ordinary comedic stunt. The masked intruder delivered a cryptic and unsettling message while engaging in bizarre and surreal antics that left viewers bewildered and disturbed. The intrusion occurred twice that night, with the hijacker first interrupting the WGN-TV broadcast for about 25 seconds. The incident then repeated later that night on WPTW-TV during an airing of the British television series Doctor Who. This time, the interruption lasted for a staggering 90 seconds. The perpetrators behind the Max Headroom incident managed to evade detection and maintain their anonymity, making it one of the most audacious acts of signal intrusion in history. The event triggered widespread media attention and a comprehensive investigation by the Federal Communications Commission, FCC, and law enforcement agencies. Despite their best efforts, the culprits behind the intrusion were never identified or apprehended. The motives and intentions of the individuals responsible for the Max Headroom incident remain unclear. Some speculated that the hijacking was a protest against mainstream media and its influence on society. Others believed it to be a publicity stunt or a prank gone too far. The The masked intruder's message contained references to the animated series Clutch Cargo and the new Coke beverage, but these references did little to shed light on the intruder's true identity or purpose. In the years that followed, similar broadcast signal intrusions occurred in other parts of the United States, leading some to wonder if there might be a connection between these incidents. However, no evidence emerged to definitively link the Max Headroom incident to subsequent occurrences. Over time, the Max Headroom incident has taken on a legendary status, becoming an integral part of pop culture folklore. Numerous theories and speculations persist, with amateur sleuths and internet communities attempting to decipher the mystery behind the intrusion. Despite the passage of time, the true identity of the masked intruder and their motives continue to elude investigators and enthusiasts alike. In conclusion, the Max Headroom incident of 1987 remains an enduring enigma in the world of broadcast signal hijacking. Its surreal and unsettling nature, combined with the perpetrator's ability to escape identification, has cemented its place as one of the most iconic and unsolved mysteries in television history. As technology and media continue to evolve, this incident serves as a stark reminder of the potential vulnerabilities in broadcast systems and the enduring allure of unsolved mysteries that capture the public's imagination. In the realm of unsolved mysteries, the Taman Shud case, also known as the mystery of the Summerton Man, stands as one of Australia's most enduring enigmas. The case revolves around the discovery of an unidentified man's body on Summerton Beach in Adelaide, South Australia, on December 1, 1948. With no identification on his person and an unusual clue found nearby, the investigation took a puzzling turn that continues to baffle investigators to this day. The unidentified man's body was found lying on the beach, neatly dressed in a suit with no labels or tags to identify his clothing. A search of his pockets revealed no identification documents, but strangely, a hidden compartment in his trousers contained a small piece of paper with the words Taman Shud printed on it. These words, meaning ended or finished in Persian, were torn from a copy of the book Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam. Subsequent examination of the book led to the discovery of an encoded message written in pencil on the back cover. Despite exhaustive efforts by code breakers and cryptographers, the cipher remains unsolved, leaving investigators without any clues to the identity of the man or the meaning behind the cryptic message. As authorities delved deeper into the case, they discovered a suitcase believed to belong to the deceased. Inside the suitcase were various items of clothing, all missing any form of identification. However, even more intriguing was the discovery of a tiny, unique stencil brush. This brush became a focal point of the investigation, as it led investigators to an abandoned car parked near the beach, where they found a mysterious, unlisted phone number. As the case garnered public attention, a breakthrough seemed imminent when a man came forward, claiming to have found a copy of the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam in the back seat of his unlocked car parked near the crime scene. Strangely, the book contained a handwritten message in it that read, Taman Shud, a slight variation of Taman Shud. Authorities later confirmed that the paper found on the dead man matched the torn piece from this particular copy of the book, deepening the enigma. Amidst the investigation, a woman named Jessica Thompson, surfaced, revealing that she had given a copy of the Rubaiyat to an unidentified man with whom she had a brief relationship during World War II. The man's identity remained concealed, leading some to speculate a potential espionage connection, as this occurred during the height of the Cold War. Despite numerous leads and interviews, the true identity of the Summerton Man remains elusive. Several theories have emerged over the years, ranging from espionage to an illicit love affair gone wrong. However, without concrete evidence or DNA identification technology available at the time, the case eventually went cold and no definitive answers were ever found. To this day, the Shud case continues to captivate amateur sleuths and researchers who hope to unravel its secrets. The enigmatic death of the Summerton Man and the cryptic message in the Rubaiyat have become iconic symbols of unsolved mysteries, reminding us of the profound challenges investigators face in solving complex cases that defy explanation. As technology advances and new clues emerge, there remains a glimmer of hope that one day, the truth behind the Summerton Man's identity and his untimely demise will finally come to light. Until then, the mystery of the Shud case endures as one of Australia's most enduring puzzles. In March 1997, the night skies above Phoenix, Arizona, witnessed an extraordinary and perplexing event that would later become one of the most famous UFO sightings in history, the Phoenix Lights. Thousands of witnesses, ranging from civilians to trained pilots and military personnel, reported seeing a massive and silent V-shaped formation of lights slowly gliding across the sky. The event unfolded in two distinct phases. The first phase occurred at around 8:00 p.m., when witnesses observed a series of bright lights moving in a linear formation over the state of Arizona. The second phase, which captivated the city of Phoenix later that night, involved a massive V-shaped formation of lights that hovered and glided silently across the night sky. The Phoenix Lights incident generated a flurry of media attention, sparking intense public interest and fascination with the phenomenon. Debates and speculations regarding the origins of the lights were rampant. While some skeptics dismissed the sighting as military flares or misidentified aircraft, the vast majority of witnesses disagreed, asserting that the lights belonged to something otherworldly. One of the most remarkable aspects of the Phoenix Lights was the credibility of many eyewitnesses. Among them were seasoned pilots, air traffic controllers, and military personnel, who all attested to witnessing the mysterious phenomenon. The abundance of credible witnesses added weight to the legitimacy of the event and fueled the ongoing investigation into its nature. In the aftermath of the incident, the U.S. Air Force initially claimed that the lights were the result of military flares dropped during an exercise. However, this explanation was met with skepticism due to the lights' steady and uniform movement, contradicting the erratic nature of flares. Despite the official explanation, eyewitness accounts and the massive scale of the sighting led to persistent doubts and continued investigations. The Phoenix Lights incident prompted various civilian and scientific organizations to delve deeper into UFO research, seeking answers to the many questions surrounding the event. In the years following the Phoenix Lights, multiple video recordings and photographs emerged, further substantiating the widespread sightings and adding to the intrigue surrounding the event. Yet no definitive explanation has been provided to fully account for the mysterious lights that illuminated the skies that night. As with many UFO sightings, the Phoenix Lights remain a subject of intense debate and speculation. Enthusiasts and skeptics continue to present and analyze evidence, hoping to uncover the truth behind the strange lights that appeared over Phoenix in 1997. The incident has left an indelible mark on popular culture, serving as a reminder that there is much about our universe that remains unexplained, inviting us to look up at the night sky with a sense of wonder and curiosity.
Story that's baffled people in Phoenix for more than 2 decades. If there were iPhones or Twitter back in 1997, the Phoenix Lights would have been trending for weeks. It's a huge story back then and continues to raise eyebrows today as the focal point of a list of documentaries and books. This Wednesday marks the 22nd anniversary of the Lights.
In the realm of space exploration and the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, the WOW signal remains one of the most tantalizing and enduring mysteries. On August 15, 1977, the Big Ear radio telescope at Ohio State University's Perkins Observatory detected an unusual and powerful radio signal that lasted for 72 seconds. The signal was so remarkable that astronomer Jerry R. Emin, who was reviewing the data at the time, famously circled a printout and wrote "Wow" in the margin, giving rise to the signal's iconic name. The WOW signal's unique feature was its narrowband frequency, centered around the wavelength of 21 centimeters, which is a range that hydrogen, the most abundant element in the universe, naturally absorbs and emits. This raised the tantalizing possibility that the signal could have been emitted by an extraterrestrial intelligence deliberately aiming to communicate with other civilizations. The telescope observed the signal coming from the direction of the Sagittarius constellation, but despite numerous efforts to detect a recurrence, the signal was never detected again. This lack of repeatability has been a significant challenge for researchers attempting to understand its origin and nature. Various scientific investigations were launched to ascertain the signal's terrestrial origin, but no satisfactory explanations were found. Some hypothesized that the signal might have been caused by a passing satellite or other human-made space debris. However, these possibilities were eventually ruled out, as they failed to account for the narrowband nature and intensity of the signal. The WOW signal's extraterrestrial origin remained a compelling possibility. Some scientists speculated that it could have been a beacon signal or a directed transmission from an advanced alien civilization. This notion captivated the public's imagination and fueled interest in the search for intelligent life beyond Earth. Despite the lack of a definitive explanation, the WOW signal left a significant impact on the scientific community and the public. It sparked a surge in interest and funding for the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence (SETI) project, leading to the development of more sophisticated telescopes and techniques to detect potential signals from distant stars and galaxies. As technology advanced, subsequent searches for the WOW signal or similar signals continued, but none have matched its intensity or characteristics. The WOW signal remains one of the most significant anomalies in the history of radio astronomy, inspiring ongoing speculation and wonder about the possibility of contact with intelligent beings from beyond our solar system. In conclusion, the WOW signal of 1977 stands as an enigmatic and captivating event that has persisted as an enduring mystery in the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. Its narrowband frequency, unique duration, and unexplained origin continue to stimulate scientific curiosity and ignite the human imagination, reminding us of the vastness of the universe and the countless mysteries it holds. The quest to decipher the WOW signal remains ongoing as scientists and enthusiasts alike eagerly await the day when we may finally decipher its profound meaning and encounter evidence of intelligent life beyond Earth.